Hello, hello, welcome along. Happy Saturday, and cheers. I'm having a little drink here. It's kind of an unexpected. Yeah, I thought I'd be busier tonight, but just how it worked out. So cool. I'm going to have a little drink and try get back to this coding that I've been working on. Hey George, welcome in. How are you? Good to see you. Cheers. How's your weekend going? Yeah, it's kind of unplanned. It happens occasionally, but it's kind of like I was actually, yeah, it's itching to get back to this, and then I wasn't sure whether I'd have some time, and then it worked out that I did have some time tonight, so good. So my wife's working late, and James is in bed, so it's all working out. Yeah, but anyways, welcome along. Yes, it looked like it was a tricky one. I only managed to get on for the end of it, but yeah, it's one of those Amiga things, isn't it? Fights you all the way. Yeah, perfect conditions. Anyways, yeah, welcome in with that. Yeah, I've been working on this, and every time it's been so long between streams that I've kind of forgotten where I was with this. So I'm gonna do a little bit of catching up myself. Yeah, of course that's always how it works, isn't it? Yeah, you know these things, and especially when you're on stream, it's kind of like, or when you've got an audience, you know, it's a little bit different. You know, your head works in a different way, I think. But yeah, okay, so let me see, where are we? So this is DrawerGenie. Let me see, and there's also the DrawerGenie functions. So from what I remember now, this was working with different toolbars, but you have to manually set the toolbar. But when it does work with different toolbars, it works fine. Well, I do have to fix that, of course, the transparency of the background, but that's one thing. So, but yes, it's able to load in AISS toolbars. Yeah, exactly. And then you start to panic and think, "Oh God, this has never happened before." But yeah, so yes, so I had gotten it to work with. Let me see. I have the option for using AISS. Oh, and I've actually listed it. Oh, I have done now. Oh, it's picking up .info files. I'll have to filter them out. But yeah, okay. So it should let me switch between them. Toolbar, so default toolbar, and then use AISS overrides that. So I might also get that when it's switched on to disable this gadget. So where do I start? Okay, let's do some GUI stuff. Let's disable this gadget when this is enabled. Okay, let's do that. Yeah, and let's go back to Blitz. So what we want is to disable the cycle gadget. Do we have a separate one of these for the GUI? No, we don't. How do we? Where are my preferences? I think they might be in here. Open prefs. Yeah, there we go. Oh God. Oh, random mods. Oh yes. That's almost a little bit too much. I think I'm gonna skip that one. Let's go to this. Okay. I think those kind of Saturday nights are behind me, unfortunately. Okay, now where was I? Okay, yeah. So these are toolbars, and we add them all to this gadget, and that's fine. And we make the cycle gadget is p_toolbar. If use AISS is enabled, so we're gonna So basically, if that preference is enabled, we enable the checkbox, and we do I think it's GT disable, GT to 0, and then that's P underscore. What did I say it was? P toolbar, of course. Yeah, just there. GT disable. I think that's all that I need to do for that, and then in the main loop I'll react to that closing, or I'll disable and enable that based on what happens with the checkbox. So what was that called? Use AISS. So I've saved that. So let's go into here and handle toolbar edit is a different thing. So handle. Oh, where are we? Okay. Let's find P underscore, isn't it? P. All the preference gadgets are P underscore. Okay, here we are. Nope. Oh no, that was wrong. That was for the edit window. Okay, so that's a separate routine. Where are we going with this? Well, maybe we don't actually react to anything there. So here we are. Toolbar select P edit toolbar. We're putting new one in here. So a new case for this one. Case P underscore use AISS. Get. Does that okay? Get. Oh, I can't remember. I'm a little bit rusty already. So we want to get the status of this, but I can't remember what the command is. Let's have a look in the library help. Contents commands. GT get status. Is it get attributes? Okay, well I can get it through the attributes with the flags. But GT status, that's what it is. GT status. If GT status, not GT get status. If GT status so we want to, so if that's switched on, GT disable P toolbar, or else GT enable. And that should disable or enable it based on what the checkbox is doing. Let's see. Oh. Constant. Let's see if that works. Well, first off, yeah, the thing is actually working. So now show the preferences. So use AISS. Yeah, there we go. That's done what we wanted to do. Happy out. Okay, one thing fixed. What's the next thing to fix? Oh yeah, toolbar HD. So we don't want any .info files to be loaded in. So let's filter them out. So let's I haven't really done this in the best of ways, and also there's a whole lot of code I've commented out there. I can't even remember what that was for. Okay, where's my startup code? Let's Open prefs is probably where I'm loading in the names. Open prefs. No, that's not. Load prefs, probably. Prefs load. Nope, that just literally loads the file. Where do I get the... Where did I put the... List toolbars? There we go. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add in an extra layer of this. And if we'll move them over, and we're going to do if so what we're doing is we're going to check the right hand 5 characters and see if they're .info, and that will give us that. Or make sure they're not .info. I was going to say I could do something else here and check if it actually contains graphics information, but I'm using the Amiga Blitz 3 graphical loading routines, and they will automatically load by data type, which means that I'll be able to load in like GIF format toolbars and things like that as well. So I think I should actually leave them as they are, and not try and not reject them based on whether they have a graphics information like ILBM bitplanes in them or not. Okay, so, and what I'm doing is I'm just making sure it's lowercase so that, even if it's .info with a capital INFO or something like that, it still catches it. Unequal to okay, and that should stop us from getting let's see, DrawerGenie show interface, and we should have toolbar default and toolbar. Okay, yeah, so now we've only got 3 of them. Excellent. And yeah, cool. Okay, that's working as well. Whoa, this is going very well. Now let's sort out the transparency stuff. I probably should put a message as well to say the scanner takes something. Oh. Yeah, that's a good point. Yep, that is a fair point. That's an this is what happens when you leave it for weeks before, between touching code and the other. Yeah, of course, it has a pattern. La 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 la. What is it? Isn't that how it's done? Or is it? Oh, I can't remember. Let's have a look in how it works in a file requester. Oh no. No. Yep, that's it. Yep. Yeah, got it. Okay, so that should be right. So then I don't need this after all, and I don't need this. So let's try that now and see. Makes a lot more sense. DrawerGenie show interface. And yeah, there we go. Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Toolbar and toolbar HD. Okay. Cool. Okay, next thing is when I'm loading AISS graphics, I need to get rid of the transparency or the hot pink background, the magenta background. Okay. Yeah, yeah, a logical OR. Yep. I just entirely forgotten that I actually gave it a pattern there. that's fine. I wonder, actually, I'm going to see if there's a in the image include, if there's a kind of a get header kind of thing, so that I can see if it's actually image data, because I know you can do that if you put in a hook and you call the data types library to identify it, but I'm not doing that. It's slightly clunky. Well, when I say it's slightly clunky, it's doable. It's kind of something that'll probably take me a while to get working, so I'm not going to bother with that. But yeah, what was I going to look at? The image include documentation. Image include and image examine. That would do it. Test if the file exists. Well, it's a good question. I'm going to try it that. Open new. Try the same. Try it here. What? Yeah, looks the same, all right. Oh no, because it's still listing .av3. There aren't actually any .info files in there, are there? Yeah, no, you need to have the wildcard there, or it won't list anything. Or it won't exclude them. So, right, I think what's happened here is it's just saying not a file called .ab3, regardless of, you know, so the entire file name is .ab3, and it's saying not .ab3. So that's okay. Cool, we've got it anyway. But I think this is a good way of doing it, because we can load in any toolbar that way now. So long as we can list anything that's a valid file. I could even go one step further and say anything that's a file size. Yeah, let's try that. So not any file. Actually, maybe we don't need the brackets. Oh, no, we need the brackets. No, that's excluding everything. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I guess so. There you go. No, this is... I'm learning things as well. It's all good. It's all good. There you go. I'll have to file that away now for another... In a year's time, I'll kind of think, oh, there was something about that now. I'll remember it. But yeah, all good, useful information at some point. Okay, so I could use image examine and see if it's a supported file type. So let me see, where am I going? Process toolbar. I don't know how I ended up naming these routines. Okay, this are AISS stuff. Does load shape have a transparency? It does at trgb.l. So Let's see. So navigate west. So that's the first button, is the back button. So let's see if we can add transparency here for magenta. What'll it be? That'll be is it transparency RGB? Is it a 24-bit number? So it'll be, or no, FF00FF. If it is alpha, I don't know if it's at the start or the end, but I think it's a 24-bit number. Let's see. No, didn't work. It might also be that color isn't the perfect thing. I want to know what pen that is rather than that. It's mildly annoying, but we can open it in a thing. Let's see. Now I know the AISS directory is huge and it kind of has a tendency to start causing problems. So no, don't do it. So what are we doing? Oh, it's running. Oh, what was that about? Have I... Oh, what have I done? I've crashed the task. Yeah, panic kill. Okay. Yeah, it's it has a habit of actually kind of causing major issues. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you get this massive fragmentation of memory, I think, because each item gets its own little allocation, and yeah, you end up with tens of thousands of allocates. It could be divided up into folders, but I think it's probably too late now because it's all. Although you can do a multi-assign, you know, so assign them all to TV images and then nav west H. So file what? What? Okay, so copy was the name of an image. Okay, yeah. Ah, that's showing that's giving transparency and showing it as black. I'm going to try and load it in as into Personal Paint and see what happens. Round disk, nav west, selected image. Okay. Let's keep it to screen format. Look at that palette. So it is actually colored. That color. It is 255, not 255. So it is. Transparency RGB is not working. Why? Why? Also, that's an awkward pen. But image load shape. What's the documentation say? Okay, color RGB value. So yeah, red, green, blue. It's a 24-bit number. Red, green, blue. Why am I not getting transparency there? Nav west F00FF. What am I missing here? See, it was going too well. Oh, I haven't actually added the selected offset, so that's something I have to do for all the images. I can probably neaten this down in using some sort of list of file names. It might also make it like user editable, but I'm not bothered with that at the moment. So why am I not getting transparency here? Image load shape. Success. Image load shape. Shape number, file name, transparency RGB. It's the right format. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Compile that one. At some point, I would like there to be a project compile option in Blitz, because there isn't at the moment. So you have to go back to the main file and compile that. So they're clickable. They show the alt image. Not clickable. But why isn't it? Why am I not getting transparency? Although that doesn't look to be as hot pink. So what's going on there? It's remapping it. It's doing some sort of mapping with that color. But surely the transparency should be caught before it remaps. Let's have a look and just see. Oops. Grab screen. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Where's sgrab? Where is sgrab? Tools. Sgrab, I'm sure, is in here. Is it not? Graphics. Nope. That's weird. Maybe I have it down here, do I? Yeah, I have it here anyway. Okay, let's go and grab this. Actually, is there an untitled window? That's 18 pixels high. 640 by 494. Oh no, that's the actual workbench window. No, I'll have to just grab the whole screen. Let's RAM disk. And let's grab that. Thank you, sgrab. Load image and RAM disk. Okay, so now, what is going on with this color here? Calculator time. What's that? 153. Okay. Mildly annoying, but let's have a look and see if. Oh, it's wrong. Oh, it's going to fall on its arse now again, isn't it? What's going on here? Not sure I like it. Okay, so Here we are. So, red, that red is 99. Oh, 99. Green's 34. Which is 22. Should have known that. 99, 22. And then 255. 9922 and FF. Now, why is it that? Why did it do that? Let's save this and try and run it now. See if that loads it transparently. No. No, I don't know why transparency isn't working there. And now it's going to crash when I quit as well, isn't it? So why is that? Remove. So it's removing. It's only at the very, very end of the code because it's actually removing the commodity, which is promising. So let's quit this, load up our debugger, and try and run it now. What? And why? What? What? It could be, yeah. It could be. So yeah, there might be no way of doing that, but I would. There must be. Yeah, that's a good point. But let's have a look and see. Let's see how it loads it. Image load shape. Image load shape. Load shape. So image to shape. So image load. Image load. Okay, so it reads in the entire image header. Okay. Try if we can load an alpha channel 24-bit PNG. Image load via PNG. So try to load via data types. Yeah. So. Oh no, image load via ILBM, I would assume, because it is an ILBM file. Is it not? Is it or is it not an actual IBM file? Oh no, we don't want that anymore. RAM disk, let's see. Oh no, it's a PNG. Yeah, it's a PNG. So yeah, image load via PNG. So it actually has its own separate image load via PNG. Okay, let's step back a bit here because I don't see any mention of transparency here. So load shape just passes through to image to shape. Okay, so the transparency only comes into it at the image to shape. So the image load. Oh no, the transparency is also passed to image load. Oh, am I getting? If image load, why do both of them need the transparency passed through? Image load, so transparency is there. It also has a tolerance and a dither mode and loads of other cool stuff. So we've had that track repeating for some reason. Okay, so image load, file name, and the transparency comes through to here, TRGB. So load via PNG. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, the target is OS3, of course, but I think I would like to use them as they are. It shouldn't be a big deal because they're only loaded at start time. They're not loaded on the fly, so it will only slow down like when the program actually loads. It loads them all into RAM and it converts them on when it loads them. So it shouldn't slow down the actual operation of the program once it's loaded. But it only ever loads them at the very start. But load via PNG. So if it loaded that, let's see, loaded that, PNG decode, alpha is used. Okay. Well, let's see. Okay, yeah, it has an alpha channel, which is fine, but PNG decode. Oh, I'm not sure. Image PNG decode. That's a good point. Yeah, that's also a good point. Are there mask files? Oh, you can't. Come on. Nav West H, okay. Selected.
You ever have sex with an animal, Jack?
G. Ghosted. Plain. Now that's a puzzle. So yeah, so no mask files that I can see. Although, yeah, maybe they've got some funny naming conventions. But yeah, I'm just thinking, can I do it another way? It's a 24-bit screen. It's actually RTG, even though it's only a small resolution. It's a small resolution basically so that it's easy to read on the stream. But it is 24-bit. I'm nearly sure. 32-bit. So it does have. Well, it doesn't know anything about the alpha channel, but it does have it. Conundrum, puzzle. Let me think. Another option is I can look at the first pixel and see what color that is, and then just call that transparency. Can I set the transparency of a shape, the transparency color of a shape after I have assigned it? Because image to shape is all it does is image to shape. So let's see what image load shape does. Does it free up anything in between? Image load shape. Okay, so our blitz shape. B shape, B shape. So it just uses the same ID for both. Let's try an experiment. Shouldn't need to worry about this. This is clunky. I'll fix this afterwards. But if image load image to shape.
My name is Dan. I'm coming in. My name is Dan. I'm coming in.
So when it loads the image, this will load an image with its own bitmap or with its own palette. Converting it to a shape, I'm nearly sure, is what does the remapping, and that's the part where you need to have an allocated screen and it remaps it. Image to shape. Let's check what that does. Yeah, see, this is getting our. This is doing a remap. By the looks of it. In its shape.
My name is Dan. I'm coming in.
Set to the mode. Oh, I see. So it's using the blit routine, which does the remapping. That doesn't do anything with the transparency, though. Then image make cookie. Okay. It does a make cookie after it's done the remap. Image make cookie, what does that do? Well, I know what making a cookie is, but how does that actually do it? Number of the object, number of the shape object, transparent, color, okay. And the problem is, is that applied to the shape object. So maybe it's not applying the shape cookie. Unable to make cookie different dimensions of image. Yeah, that shouldn't happen. So, image init mask. Mask. There's a lot of stuff in here. I'm just I don't know. Yes. Maybe if I am going to be just using those images on Workbench 3, I should probably just ignore that and just convert them to AIFF or to IFF. Yeah. Because that would work, of course. RAM disk. What's the first one I'm using? Let's just do the first one to convert it, just because I want to see what it looks like. No, image include, no. So, process toolbar. Do. I don't think I actually tried this, did I? I put that code in. I turned on the debugger, but it didn't debug. Oh, it did. Previous case block too large. Oh, fuck. Yes, that's right. Right, the problem here is that there's basically how the Blitz compiler works is it has a certain, you know, a maximum buffer size it can use for any particular construct in the code, and when you enable the debugger, it inserts all sorts of extra stuff that causes it to fall over. Unfortunately. Yeah. So yeah. So I can't even load the debugger there because it will not compile. So the debugger's turned off. Oh. DrawerGenie. Now the debugger's turned off. Okay, so we've got our images. Let me quit here. It's gonna crash again. Remove. Oh dear. Let's see what that is. Let's see what. I'll check that out later. Okay, so for the moment, that seems to be a problem. Okay. So so what should I do instead? That didn't work. That didn't change things. Nav West H. Now we want to load shape. Load shape. Sorry, I'm going to save that. Yeah, I'm just going to convert these to an IFF just to copy in there and just for pig ignorance, just to see what it looks like. Evening, Terrible Fire. How are you? How are things? Oh, no, wrong button. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to swap that with the very, very pink color. And then we're going to color remap that. And now I'm going to cut this out and we should have our transparency. Yeah, okay. Oh yes, you're cramming. Oh no. Oh yeah, that is where we want it. DB images. navwest.h.iff. Oh. What? Oh, it was loading the thing. Oh dear. Oh, very slow file access. At some point I'll go to a revision party. Yeah, he's heading over. I think he's also agreed to do a crazy 5k on the morning after, or one of the mornings of it, which is impressive. What was the other one? So NavWest H and NavWest, just NavWest. Serious stuff. Okay, and let's swap that with color 0. Color remap. So then we've got pen 0 around it again. We'll do the same thing here. And save that brush. NavWest. Okay, so now we should have IFF versions of these two images. Let's just NavWest, just because I want to see what it looks like. But this is what's going to happen. Oh, let's see what's happening. Someone's sending me stuff. Oh, look at that. Interactive streaming. It's a slightly surreal picture of me on the computer on a pretty busy looking setup. Excellent. But you reckon you'll get sorted for it? I'm not going to say exactly what you're working on, but you reckon you'll get it done? Or it'll be many, many late nights between now and then. When is it? It's next weekend or the weekend after? It's not next weekend. Or is it? Anyways. Let's see what this looks like. And if it falls on its arse again. Now hold on a second. What the fuck? Why you do this to me? Oh, well, yeah, that's... Yeah, having a beer machine beside you is... I imagine there's a curve. And you kind of like, productivity goes up to about 3 pints, and then and then you nosedive off the end of it. It's yeah, wait till you see after a couple more glasses of wine now how well I'm coding. If this is what I'm like after a glass and a half. Okay, so this button still has the bloody fucking magenta background, and I've converted it, and I've yeah, Blitz Basic, exactly. It's oh, fuck you. Right. Well, let's see if it quits now after I've stopped it trying to do the transparency. And it works. Okay, so there's something funky going on with... Oh. Okay, nope. Thinks it's... Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, let's see. Enter. Okay, so there's a bug. There's a bug in the Blitz code for the dealing with the transparency. That's what it looks like, because it's not crashing anymore on exit. So I think there's something funny going on there, and maybe that's why it's not working. But in the meantime, I'm going to brute force this into working by doing this. Oh yeah, because yeah, I'm sure someone will have complained like, I've got no 40 chip and a no 60 chip. Why can't I use them both? So load shape back and file names. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, you just you know, casually drop the suggestion and then see how much they complain about how you're such a selfish prick for not doing it. Ah, God. Anyways, let's see. Ah. No, of course now, because I've bypassed the code, I'm not remapping the colors. George, I don't suppose you know if AISS has a non-PNG version that is possible to load? As in, you know, because I don't, you know, I obviously can't include all those images because, you know, they're not mine to include. Convert them on the fly. See, that's what I'm doing, is converting them on the fly, because the PNGs aren't palette mapped. Oh, well, they're palette mapped, but they're not palette mapped to the screen. Actually, they're not. Sorry, they're not palette mapped at all. They've got their 24-bit. Yeah, come on. Where's my accelerator for my Amiga 600? I'm sitting here waiting, tapping my foot. Tap, 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 tap. Can't believe you're such a selfish bastard. Can't believe it. It's just this bloody community just won't do everything for me. I actually don't. I do have an Amiga 600 motherboard. I don't know where it is. But you know, I was given an Amiga 600, and this was back in the 90s, mid 90s. I was just given one because the guy who owned it, it's a good friend of mine, and he just got a PC, and so he got his Pentium 166 or Pentium 200 or something like that. Anyway, it was a shit hot PC at the time, and he gave me his Amiga 600 for nothing, along with a load of cool stuff. And that Amiga 600 ran my room automation at home. My parents were delighted with that, with me running cables between, like burying cables in the wall and running them into my Amiga. Mains cables. That Amiga survived getting mains voltage through the ground plane on the motherboard. Fucking, it's got the scorch marks still to prove it. It survived absolutely fine. And it worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for years and years and years. Years and years. And yeah, and I decommissioned it when I moved out of home. And yeah, and I still use it occasionally for testing, but that's it. I've no idea where the keyboard or case are gone. It was just a motherboard. Great machines, nice and compact. It was able to go in a drawer with a power supply and a relay card and all sorts. Anyways, I'm going to give up on this transparency business because, yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So, someday I will look into the transparency, but I'm going to have to do it manually, I think. Oh dear, it wouldn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. I saw the video at the time. I haven't read any of the comments. Okay. This isn't working. So I'm going to ignore it, like all good coders will, and let's just see if the other options work. Show interface, and so now we can choose toolbar high definition and save that. So, oh no, we've still got our old toolbar. Oh, I better change that back, that code back. So I need a little note to say that it needs to be restarted, because I can't reload the images on the fly, because, or can I? No, because if I have a toolbar open, I have to close all the toolbars and reopen them. Well, maybe I can do that. I'll try. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little warning in saying that I need to restart it, because that's far easier. It's like in work, you know, it's one of these things. You know, in work we requested in the bathroom, the hot tap is really, really scalding hot, and the cold tap is cold, and they're two separate taps because that's how they do it in the UK. And we put in a request for a mixer tap, and we were told no by facilities. So we put in a health and safety request saying it was too hot, we need a mixer tap. And so instead of saying no, what they did was, oh, this is a health and safety thing, it's very important. They just went to put a sign beside it saying very hot water. It's like, fuck's sake. Yeah, but yeah, I'm going to take the easy way out on this one for now, and then I'll put in the warning, and then we'll see if I can fix it the rest of the way. So let's put the old code back in for these two images. So that's back to normal. Now when I run it, hey Ollie, how are you? I know, yeah, I know, but non-return valves, or have the mixer taps as two separate pipes all the way up to the nozzle, which is a cheap way of doing it. It's a British Standards Authority. Yes, it is. Yeah, I know. Okay, so at least that's working. Also, that's not doing transparency either. Yes. Oh, no. Right, I didn't mean to do that. It's a live thing. Okay, so at least other toolbars work, although they don't have transparency either. Why is that? Why? I'm going to have a look at that toolbar and see what's happened. Load image. Yes, it has. No, that's not what I wanted. Files. Amiga Blitz projects. What's this called? DrawerGenie. Two bars. Not stretch. Thank you. Oh dear. Okay. So it turns out that, you know what? Maybe that Blitz transparency thing was working all the time, because it looks like when you look in Blitz Basic, when you load a shape, color 0 is automatically considered transparent, and it makes a cookie for that. Although no, the Blitz code was trying to make a cookie as well, wasn't it? But it's loading it, it's creating a transparent cookie, and it is not transparent when you create a gadget with it. How do we do that now? How do we make it? We can't make it transparent, can we? It just is what it is. That's not good, because look at it, it's that color. Anyways, right, let's put in our little warning sign instead, and then we'll look at the transparency of that. because that's loading it with the native Blitz things rather than the but process toolbar. And oh, we were already there. So I'm nearly sure that's loading the shapes. It is, yeah. So it loads the bitmap and it takes the shapes from there. And it assumes they are the palette of the... Oh no! It actually loads the toolbar with load shape. Ah. Let's try it. Let's see if we get transparency if we do it this way. Using the native command. We do. Okay, so it's just this Poxy Blitz, this image include that comes with Amiga Blitz that isn't doing the transparency as it should. It's not. It does transparency because I've used that for other things that, you know, and I kept it as an Amiga Blitz thing, but it's not translating that transparency into a Blitz Basic mask, or into an Amiga native mask, and therefore when I go and blit these or add them as objects, they don't have the transparency. But it does map the rest of the colors. Right. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Short of writing my own remap code, and I don't really want to do that. Do I? Not now. I'm too tired to write full remap code. No, it's not difficult, but it's faff, and I need to, you know, in my head, I have to sit down for a while and think about it before I do that, and it won't, you know, whatever bit watching me talking shite. If I'm sitting there trying to figure that out on paper, I'm just, yeah, not going to be. It's not going to be great viewing. But anyways, let's do something else instead. Let's look at. Yeah, I was going to add that warning saying whenever you change toolbar, close prefs is a routine that deals with that. A marathon? Are you going to join him in the marathon, or are you just kind of, or do you mean tonight when he's finished at his wedding? For those who don't know, there's one of the guys in the Scottish group called he's called Johnny, and he after one of the Scottish Amiga user group nights out, he just decided to go for a run. He was running home to his brother's house in Glasgow, and he ran the wrong direction and just kept on running and ran and got home hours later. And, and so now Terrible Fire's gonna troll him into running again because he's at a wedding not far from where Terrible Fire lives. But oh dear. Anyways, where were we? Okay. So this gives us the benefit of remapping, but we lose the transparency. And then the old method gives us the transparency, but we don't have any remapping. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this away with me somewhere else, some other time, and I'm going to write a remap code for when you load a shape. I'm going to do it myself so that then I can remap the shapes by hand. Is that going to work? No, because I don't. It's not going. I'll write my own version of the load shape stuff from the image include and do it separately. I'll do that at some point. In the meantime, let's see what happens when we change our preferences. Close prefs. Oh, literally just closes the prefs. So how do we change our preferences? Close pref. Oh, that just closes the window. So, read prefs, get prefs, get prefs. Okay, so now we're going. This is reading the prefs from the gadgets that are open. So let's see if prefs toolbar. Ah. Okay, so this is just assigns the prefs toolbar. Okay, so if the toolbar is changed, toolbar string, we reassign it and we pop up our warning. What's this called? Okay. Let's see if that works. DrawerGenie, show interface. Use, fine. Show interface. Change that. Use. Onto. Ah, yes, that's where it works. Cool. To our HD. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's working as we wanted, and it's not popping up a warning when it shouldn't. Okay, so if we solve the transparency problem for one, we'll solve it for the other. So that's fine. Let's see if we can redo our toolbars. Close them and open them again with new toolbar icons. So that we don't need that warning. But the warning's there anyway, just in case. Okay, let me think. So, process toolbar loads us a new toolbar. So, process toolbar. So, okay, process toolbar does this. Okay. So it will either load AISS, or if it's not, it will find the toolbar that's selected in the preferences and load it. Using that. And then it cuts it up into the shapes and it calculates the X positions of each of those gadgets. So, okay. So if we rerun that, what we have to do is we have to make sure that we've freed up all our gadgets first. So get prefs. We're going to go to put a new function for changing the toolbar. Okay, a new statement. Statement, change toolbar. Statement. Mennet statement. So shared preferences. Now let us see. I've used constants for these like a good programmer. I've used constants. Where are the constants? DrawerGenie defs. Ah, no. Here we go. So they start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. They're all in numerical order. I'm terrible at it. And I forced myself to use them because, you know, I kind of like, I tell everyone else to do it. And I tell a lot of people on these streams, I tell a lot of people in you know, tutorials I've done, I'm like, no, you have to do this, you have to do this. And I really, really have to force myself to. And now it's kind of biting me in the ass because I want to make sure, I want to run a loop to free all these item numbers rather than going through each constant. So I'm going to use back to sort by type. But yes, yeah. We're going to close the image include because it's getting crowded here. Cami, welcome in. How are you? Good to see you this morning. Yeah, I hope you're well. Hope it's a lovely morning in Tasmania. If you have just joined in, I have failed miserably at getting using the Amiga Blitz image includes to do transparency. So there's something wrong with it. It's actually crashing or it's causing gurus. So there's something going on there. Although it hasn't taken the machine down yet, so I'm still counting crash count as 0. Oh, I see what you did there. Anyway, what was I doing? Yes, so yeah. So we're going to go from back to sort by type is the last one. Yep. Physically healthy, that's good. Excellent. Yeah, all good here. All good. I haven't been streaming in a while, but I had some. It was kind of like touch and go whether I was going to have time tonight, but it turns out I have because I spent the day tiring out my child, and it has worked. And he was asleep by 8 o'clock, which is excellent. And yeah, and Sarah's working late, and it's all kind of it's all worked out well. A bit late now to say it, but yeah, I know I was only joking about gate crashing the wedding. No, that wouldn't be my style. Not anymore. Those days are behind me. But there's a wedding going on not too far, like walkable distance. Although that's debatable because last time I walked from there, I made a hoop of myself. But there's a wedding going on there, and one of the Scottish Amiga guys is at it, and so we were threatening to gate crash it there a while ago. I don't know if you can relate to the feeling of waiting to find out. Yeah. Oh, I see. Was this like a Tasmanian government election, or was it a by-election of some sort, or a local election, or what was it? Yeah, no, it is one of those things. It can be stressful, very stressful. Oh, it's like stumbling distance from terrible fireplace, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I don't think you need to stay up late to watch the election results in Russia. I see. Yeah, I have to say, I'm a little bit out of touch. I have loads of family in Tasmania. I'm a little bit out of touch with the political situation there. Is it going a bit more right-wing than it should? If that's fair to say. Because that seems to be quite it seems to be happening over much of the world. And I normally try to avoid politics, but this is genuinely interesting from our side of the world. Yeah, that sounds pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah. Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, but so look, all you have to do is promise them what they need, and people will vote for you. Like, worked for Hitler, still working today. Free jobs for everyone. Jesus, I should run for government. Oh, I see. So it's kind of like a holdout. Yeah, it is. There's nothing. There's more hassle between the mainland and the islands than there is between here and the moon. Like, there's nothing between here and the moon. Fresh air for a few miles and then it's plain sailing. But between Scotland and the islands, that's serious. Because the sea. Yeah, you see, exactly. They promised a giant football stadium and a giant chocolate fountain. Yeah, exactly. And yeah. Yeah, if you're not familiar with the reference there, Cammy, or George, you might not be either. But there are a lot of the Scottish. There are a lot of islands off the west of Scotland, and they're serviced by a ferry company, and the government have spent a stupid amount of money on ferries that have yet to see the light of day, and it's kind of getting embarrassing at this stage because it's like, you don't know, maybe the contracts are signed by someone who didn't really know what they were doing, or maybe there are some backhanders involved, but either way, what's happened is the cost just keeps going up, and they're like, okay, yeah, let's just keep on firing more money at this, because if we don't fire the money after it, good money after bad, we will not get ferries, and we badly need ferries. Yeah, so it's like, what the fuck? So it's a bit of a joke in Scotland, but these are the things that happen. The same things happen in Ireland as well. It's nothing compared to, well, okay, I say nothing, but there's a massive thing in England about the ferries. Yes, there's a massive thing in England about the PPE. There were these companies, the Brexit companies that popped up. They'd never owned a boat before. They'd never operated a ferry company before. But all of a sudden, they got these multi-million-pound contracts to run ferries between the UK and France after Brexit. And you're like, what? What? It's just basically because I'm a friend of a politician and I've registered a company that's a shipping company, and I get all this money. And exactly, yeah, exactly. So it is the same everywhere, unfortunately. And the UK has that kind of government as well. Scotland is a weird kind of government, separate to that, but beholden to the UK government in a way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I can run a logistics company. I can, basically live in the margin between how much I pay a ferry company to do my stuff and how much I'm charging the UK government. I could probably buy my own boat for the profit I'm making. And that's how it worked. It's the same with the PPE. It's like, they got in millions of face masks and things that didn't meet the standards, and visors that didn't meet the standards, gloves that didn't meet the standards. And you're like, What the fuck? Who picked this company? Oh, it's a friend or it's a husband of one of the politicians involved. Let's see what's happened there. You know? Yeah. Yeah, the Greeks and Italians seem to be good at that kind of thing as well. But I think it's just a universal thing. Politicians are shit. Yeah, local shipbuilders put in bids, but they'd rather get cheap ones from Asia or something. Well, that's kind of well, the Scottish ones they're being built in Turkey, but we probably should have got them built in China, and they would have been delivered more quickly and under budget, and that's fine. Except they would just feed everything that happens on the ferry, on the Wi-Fi on the ferry, straight to China. I think that's an okay price to pay. But anyways, yeah, what was I doing here? I'm completely sidetracked there. Oh yeah, so yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well there's also that as well, yeah. Oh yeah, yes, of course. Yes. So they were trying to keep the optics up while still ballooning, while the costs were still ballooning, and it was like nowhere closer to getting it done. So yeah, no, that was fucked up as well. Like yeah, but yeah. Yeah, calm down there, Terrible Fire. I know you're starting to shout at things now. I don't know. I don't. Oscilloscope's fucked out the window now in a few minutes. Now, don't do it, Chucky. Don't do it. Or no, don't do it, Terrible Fire. Don't do it. But it could have been. I haven't actually watched the rest of development, but I probably should. I hear good things. Yes, this is the solution. Okay, so change the toolbar. So we're going to set up a little loop here that's going to free up all our toolbar shapes. Free shape I. No, free shape I. Yeah. Okay, but we have to do that after we've closed our. Oh, I didn't. What? The Air Canada thing. What's that? I haven't heard anything about that. Oh, that was Boris Johnson at the absolute height of his shitehousery. Oh, Jesus Christ. He was he was talking all sorts of bollocks about building a bridge between Northern Ireland and Scotland to, basically as a Brexit sweetener. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? No, what? Just like, oh, fucking hell. Oh no, I did hear about that. Oh, that was brilliant. Yeah, that's genius. Yes. Yeah, that's quality stuff. Oh, speaking of, morally dubious chatbots and stuff like that. Yeah, absolutely. I just found out that my gas meter isn't reporting new things because the meter reading came in as an estimate. So I tried to submit a new one and it said, you've used 0 units in the last 3 months. Like, okay. So I went and checked the meter. It has a reading on it saying I've used 0 units in the last 3 months. I most certainly have been using the heating. And so I tried to get another chat with them, and I was talking to a little bot for a while, and then it kind of said, we're not able to take your call or whatever. They said, we're unable to deal with this request at the moment. Please try again later. I'm like, okay, well, I'm using 0 units, so I'm taking photographs of this. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Do you know there's the guy who does OS news? He's he's has strong opinions about some stuff. Some of them he can take or leave, but he's calling AI spicy autocomplete, which I think is brilliant. It's like that's it. That's all it is doing. Oh, Sarah, my wife, works. Well, she has a couple of jobs. She works as a singer, but she's also an administrator in a music school in Glasgow. And her boss owns the school, and he is terrible at dealing with some things. And he seems to, if he's gonna like fire one of the tutors. They're basically, the tutors are kind of freelancers, basically, that are hired to do like whatever teaching is on at that time. And it's if he needs to have a word with them or he needs to fire them, he kind of like, he just doesn't, he asked a chatbot to come up with a letter for him. That's dreadful. Oh, I don't think there's anything more insulting than being fired by means of a letter from a chatbot. Like, that's fucking horrible. Yeah, well, that's exactly it. No morals and no respect for human life. To be fair, there are people like that in my company. Oh, that's terrible. Anyways, so we've freed up all the shapes, but before we do that, we have to close all the toolbars and then reopen them. Finest collection of boilers in the world. What are we talking about here? Are we talking... What? Oh, right. Right, yeah. I probably should have guessed. The Father Ted quote. Yes. I do enjoy a good boiler. Yeah. I think there's a lot of technology that goes into a boiler and a lot of danger. I like them as a thing, but yeah, it's unrelated to anything that's going on. Oh yeah, I have to have a Father Ted off at some point. Oh, now I have to try and do some coding before I get too drunk. Okay. What was I doing? Yes, so I need to get all the open toolbars. I have to remember which ones are open, and then I have to close them all, change the toolbar graphics, and then reopen them with the new graphics. I can do that. So, what is our maximum toolbar count? I'm sure that's a constant somewhere. I have to look it up because I could just write 10. It's not. Oh, I'm sure I'd find it somewhere. Max helpers 10. It is 10. Max helpers. I call them helpers. Max helpers. So what we're going to do is we're going to loop to that. Next die. So we need our helpers we need to import our helpers here. So when you're in a function, I should probably explain that our statement, you need to tell it which variables to import from the main code. So prefs is a struct that holds all the preferences. Helpers is an array that holds all the details of the helpers. Let's have a look here and let's see. Ugh. Oh, it's not showing up. Why is that not showing up? Helpers. Yes, helpers. Helpers? No, I think you have to compile it for those that function to work. So helpers.helper window 10. That should be max helpers. There's a horrific bug waiting to happen at some point when I increase that number. Helpers.helper window. Okay, so a helper window is this struct here, or new type in Blitz Basic parlance, helper window. So that has all the details. Where is... How do I know it's actually open? In use. That's the one, in use. So we're going to open a little variable or a little array here. We don't even need that. We need a byte. There we go again. Max helpers. So if helpers in use, helpers I in use. So if this one is being used, if it's open, then I will make that one true. So we're going to temporarily remove those helpers and we're going to reopen them with the exact same parameters. Can I do that? Add helper. Oh, this is more complicated. Oh. Shit. Because I'll lose the histories of them. So I just want to close the windows and reopen the windows as they exist. Add helper. And I'm going to have to make sure that the... I'll have to disable multitasking to do this, I think. But that's not going to work, is it? Because if I disable multitasking, I lose intuition. I can't close windows. And if I open these windows again, I lose the history of them. As in, you can't press back anymore. So if I use the close and open functions. Shit. Because each window has a history. And what happens is when you, or each toolbar has a history, and when you kind of like open a parent or something like that, it actually opens a new toolbar, but it inherits the history of the previous one. But if I'm going to close them all and then reopen them, I'm wiping that history. Or am I? How do I close the window and reopen it and keep everything intact? Do I literally just pull the rug and hope for the best? Which is an option. But you see, it could legitimately be a second or two in which time like on the Amiga, it's very easy to pull the rug out of something from under something else and cause absolute fucking chaos. And yeah, you'd probably need to have a pray because and I'm doing this in a little bit of a hacky way, so I'm hooking into window pointers and stuff like that. So a lot of what I do is based on nothing happening between when you click a button and when that button reacts. But, which is fine, but anything that takes any appreciable length of time, you should disable multitasking, because what can happen is the window can move, the window can be closed or something like that, and it's entirely possible, like whatever about having a fraction of a second, if you've got a delay of a second when you're loading in a new toolbar and decoding the graphics, it is entirely feasible or plausible that the user could close a window, and then you open your toolbar again, it has no window to attach to, and then as soon as you click something, it shits itself. Yeah, I don't know. I like it in its elegance and simplicity, but yeah, there are some things. It's just the way it is. Other OSs will just, you know, you'll just catch an exception and it doesn't do anything. Whereas, you know, you're left with a dangling pointer like that, it ends up shitting all over your exec. And that's not where you want to be. Yeah, that's it. But you see when you forbid and permit though, you can't close windows or open windows, because that deals with all sorts of message passing, and that means multitasking. So that doesn't work. Because you see the problem is, the problem, I know, and load in the graphics separately, and just flicker each one separately. I could as well, like, you know, instead of closing all the windows and open all the windows, close one toolbar, open that toolbar, close the next, open the next. It just leaves the existing gadgets are suddenly pointing at no man's land. Then you see, because I've freed up I've pulled the graphics data from under them. Unless I have two sets of graphics loaded. Oh, that's messy. No. Because they all share the same graphics pointers. Yeah. Shit. You see, because but see, I'm no longer in control of the pointers, because what's happened is I load in the graphics, and that's fine. They're my bitmaps. Then I pass them to GAD tools, and now they're part of actual gadgets. So they're GAD tools as its own separate task, and so I don't have control of that pointer anymore. So I have to deconstruct the windows and reconstruct them with the new pointers. And I have to, if it would be quite slim, but if someone clicks a button or moves a window or something like that while those pointers aren't there, it's gonna shit itself. Okay, fuck it. We'll just close the windows and see how long it takes. I'm using emulation for this, to be fair, but we'll see how long it takes and then go with that. That's the theory, but the problem is the dangerous stuff is closing windows and then opening new windows. That's where the danger is. Or is it? Let me think. Yeah, because there's two layers of this. Sorry. Okay, so there's the one layer where you've left a toolbar with graphics on it that they're orphans basically, and point to, But so if I close and open the windows after the forbid, the graphics that they point to don't exist anymore. So if someone clicks a button, you're going to load garbage or access RAM that doesn't, or memory that isn't allocated, or it belongs to something else. But the other side of it is, if I there's two layers to it. I'm hooking into the window structs, like the actual workbench window structs. So if I can't close the windows and reopen them. What do you mean after forbid? Oh yeah, no, yeah, of course there are no interrupts. Yeah. I'm gonna put the code together and see if I can break it. And see if I can do a forbid or permit. Yeah. Okay. Right. Dun. What was I doing? But you see, yeah. You see, the problem is that no matter what you do, there's an overlap somewhere, because if I'm freeing up the graphics, I'm leaving GAD tools hanging. So I can free up the graphics, replace new graphics with new pointers. I need to free up the GAD tools list for that. Before that happens, okay, to be absolutely safe, GAD tools has to be pulled down, and then it has to be put back up with the new graphics. That's fine. Loading them in is no problem. The problem is if I close the windows and I open them again, it's a separate problem. I can't close and open windows when multitasking is suspended, or when interrupts are suspended. So, but I need to close and open the windows because the new windows have new gadgets associated with them. So it's fine. The GAD tools bit I can do. That's fine. Yeah, exactly. So I just need to keep that narrow as possible. So yeah, it's the problem is the actual workbench windows, not the toolbar windows, because in the meantime, when I close a window and open it again, I have to if the workbench window disappears in the meantime, I'm going to try and read weird positions for the basically it's my toolbar is going to be an orphan, and it's going to try and read window positions that don't exist anymore and things like that. It's going to try and access the workbench window struct, and that's asking for trouble, because that'll be a null pointer then. But look, it's just a case of minimizing the time that's possible, and I'm already doing that in a couple of places. So oh, something made a noise there. I'm going to see what happened. I think my wife is back. 2 seconds. Streaming at the moment. So, I'll talk to you in a few minutes. All good. It is my wife, and I'm not being burgled. Yeah, I'll say it in a while. Okay, so where's my function gone? What function did I even do there? Well, the simple way of doing it is to just call. I've got, remove helper and add helper functions, and that will fail if the window doesn't exist anymore, but I lose the history doing that. Change toolbar, that's where I was. Okay. So now I've got a list of the helpers that are open. Okay, I'll do it the nasty way first, and then see what happens. So to max helpers, so I've got a list here. If is open equals true, and then close window I. Free GT list I. What I can do then is forbid. So the windows disappear. No, it can't, because I need disk access to load the graphics. Oh, you know what I also need? Cheers. Yeah, my wife was singing in Greenock this evening. Oh yeah, this is a good red. Well, it's kind of my regular Rioja. Call over and you can have a glass. But yeah, my wife was singing and she's in Greenock today, and she's just back. Earlier than I was expecting, actually. I thought she'd be back at 11. But anyways, okay, so here's where we free GT list. So we have to free the shapes. So once all our toolbars are closed, we can free the shapes. This is, in terms of image data, this is the safest way of doing it. But we can rearrange this afterwards. Let's see. Well, you know where I am. Still have actually there's another bottle downstairs. So we freed our shapes. Now we need to load the shapes again. Process toolbar. That's what we want. Oh. Process toolbar. Process toolbar. Are we using any functions from within this? Because annoyingly, it's a storing away saying, "Oh right, okay. What does that mean?" Where are you, Cove? Where are you, Cove? I don't know. It's an annoying thing, to be honest, with Blitz, is that you can't use a prototype of a function. So if you reference a function, it has to be prior to that in the code. The compiler only does one way, stuff like that. So you can't prototype it at the top of the code, for example, like you can in C. Cove. Ah, I see. Fair enough. That makes sense. Process toolbar. Process toolbar needs to go above what we're doing. You know, there's a lot of stuff in Irish, well, in Irish English, Hiberno English, as they say, that comes from Old English as well. Why didn't that work? Oh, did I press copy instead of paste, instead of cut? I did. Yeah, like if you go in Ireland, you'll see things like gotten and ye and things like that used quite a lot in normal everyday stuff. Change toolbar. Yeah, I was going to say I can move that down to the bottom, but I can't because I need that above the get prefs function. Change toolbar. So process toolbar is there. Yeah. Yeah, because George, I don't know if you know him, Terrible Fire, but George is Greek and living in Dublin. So I'm sure he hears a lot of, how are ye lads? And stuff like that. You know, ye being... Actually, in Dublin, we would more often say yous, as in the plural form of you is yous. Yiz, you is. But yeah, outside Dublin, it'd be more like ye. How are ye? Yous guys. Yeah. Yeah. Are yous going to the pub? Yeah. Which one are yous? Is it? There you go. Ah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think it's yeah, one of those Celtic things maybe. Use, and then we keep the ye for outside Dublin. Ye is plural for you. Yeah, hear ye, etc. How are ye? How are yous? Yeah, and gotten. You, if you're in England and you say gotten, people think you're a bit stupid, I think. But it's absolutely perfectly fine in Ireland. If I haven't gotten caught. Oh yeah. And how many people are on Stornoway? A few thousand. That's mad. But you know what? I'm from 10,000. My hometown's about the same size, Greystones, and it is about the same size, and you can tell there are two different accents in the town, and you can tell it's not a side thing. It's going to sound horrible. It's a Catholic Protestant thing, and so you can tell what school people go to by their accent, because they either go to a Catholic school or Protestant school. And yeah, it's terrible. But yeah, and that's it. It's like, you got this small town. Yes, exactly. That was the Greystone Cinema, which is long gone. It's a hardware store now, that cinema, sadly. But okay, so we've got this function is there. Change toolbar is here. We are so once we've got this done, yeah. Well, yeah, but I would have much rather it stayed as the cinema. It was the Ormond. I dropped my screwdriver, and I need my screwdriver for coding, because I sit here twisting it. But yeah, the Ormond. It was the Ormond Cinema, Greystones. I'm nearly sure it was the Ormond. It's closed. That's closed. Oh, 20 years now. Maybe. Yeah. Anyways. Well, if you're ever over in Greystones, I'll show you exactly where it was. You can go and have a look, because the actual outside of the building, I think, still looks reasonably similar. But Bray, which is not far away, and it's where my wife is from, it's only 5 minutes up the road. A much bigger town, and that has a film studio. And if basically anything's being made in Ireland, it will probably have gone through Ardmore Studios. All the big series that come in, if they're not in Northern Ireland, they are probably something to do with Ardmore Studios, and that was just down the road, so I'm sure Father Ted had a lot to do with that, or Ardmore had a lot to do with Father Ted. And being just down the road, that would have been the closest thing that looked like a rural cinema. As Bray had a cinema too, but it just looked like the front of a shop. It just looked like, it didn't look like a middle of the nowhere cinema. Well, some bits of it, yeah. Because there wouldn't be a studio out in the West. There might be now, but there wouldn't have been a film studio or anything out in the West. And basically anything, this was one of the big companies that just did all of Ireland. And still is, this Ardmore Studios. They've got a few big sound stages, and that's just around the corner from where Sarah's parents live. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff was shot there, going all the way back, like, for decades. But yeah, if something was shot in Ireland, it probably went through there. I don't know where the actual studio itself was. The sound stage, the inside of the house. I've no idea. I'll have to look that up. Not now, though. Not now. I'm going to code. Okay, so now we're going to go to Process Toolbar. And we're going to open all the windows again. So we're using the same variable here, so we don't need that one. Yeah, we don't need that one. Max helpers, next die, next it. So, oh my god. Okay. Native. Oh my god. My typing. So now we're going to go through each of the helpers. Whichever one was closed, we're going to open again. Window. It's not even just the typing; it's the spelling. Window. Oh my god. And now the dimensions of this should be in the preference they should be in the struct, so we're going to keep them. We're going to keep them there and see what happens. So, if is open window I helpers, what's that struct look like? Is it helper windows struct, is it? Come on, do your thing. Ah, shit. Is it helper? Dot helper window? It is helper window. Come on. Parent. Oh, why is this not working? This is one of the cool things about Blitz. It gives you this browser for the stuff, and now it's not bloody working. Okay. Hook. No. Oh, no. No. Variables. Let's see if I try to compile it. Will it give me them? Yeah, that's fine. Yes! Now it's working. Oh, where did you go? Go again. Go again. Helper window. That's what I... Oh, what the fuck are you doing? Oh, I have to go and actually look at the bloody thing. So win X, win Y, win width, win height. They're the host window sizes and position. And this is the actual helper stuff. Okay, helper X, Y, width, height. So did I go and see the Passion of St. Tibulus and St. Kevin's Stump? This is going to be a long line of code. Use path helper's eye. I'm not sure if I'm using use path somewhere else, so I think we can we do pop use path? I'm not sure. Can we pop use path? Tell me. No. Can't. Use... Oh, it's use last path. Ah. Yeah, absolutely. It is. What's amazing, I still think it's just like... It's crazy is that RTE is the national broadcaster in Ireland. They turned down Father Ted. You know, they had a couple of other shows by what's his name, and yeah, but they turned it down and said, oh, you know, the people of Ireland won't be up for that. It's very blasphemous and stuff like that, and we could get in trouble if we start broadcasting this, or if we, you know, are seen to be funding blasphemous shows. So so they didn't. They passed on the offer, and then so the production company, whatever they're called, I can't remember, went to Channel 4, and Channel 4 said, yes, we will have that. Signed a check. And that's where Father Ted came from. And so it took a British company to come over and film it in Ireland with Irish actors. Hat trick, thank you. Hat trick production for Channel 4. And then RTE, because it absolutely exploded in the UK when it went on Channel 4. And then RTE had to buy it back. It was nuts. So RTE were paying Channel 4 to, what's it called? Syndicate it. Oh, it's madness. Jesus, they could have made millions and millions and millions and still be making millions out of it. Anyways, so what we've done is we've made a little shortcut here so we don't need helpers X or helpers I. So helper X, helper Y. Helper height. What else do we need for window command? Flags. Oh, bollocks. I can't remember what the flags are. Haha. You did. To be fair, have you ever watched Father Ted, Cammy? If you haven't, I heartily recommend it. I highly recommend it. Yes, Tasmania is like it's really high up on my list of places to go to visit because I have so much family there now, mostly in Hobart and Devonport. But it's fantastic. But yeah, it's set on like an island off the west of Ireland, so Tasmania is about the same size as Ireland, although not population wise. I think it's a lot smaller, but landmass wise is about the same size as Ireland. But if you imagine a little island in the sea off Tasmania with 1,000 people living on it, there now you're kind of getting to the idea that are kind of a sort of a concentration of everything that is Tasmania, and just if you just multiply it and then stick it on a tiny island, that's what we're getting at. Yeah. Terrible Fire, for anyone who wasn't aware, had a mini Amiga festival in his. I don't know King Island or Flinders Island, to be honest. I'm not familiar with them. Which means I probably don't know anyone who lives there. And you'll have to forgive my ignorance. But I'm going to go and research them now. So there in October, Terrible Fire had a mini Amiga festival for 2 days in his house, and he had one of his sitting rooms that just had a Father Ted playing all night. And so you kind of you go play some games, do some stuff, do some coding, have a few drinks, and then you go and sit by the fire and watch some Father Ted, and then you get up and you go and do some more coding or do some more game playing or do some more poking at something or trying to fix something. It was lovely. Yeah, exactly the same thing. Yeah, the microcosms of oddballs. It's that's exactly what happened, and that's the whole premise of Father Ted. It's like a distilled version of Ireland. Yeah, no, it was lovely. It was he'll be having it again in October. George, if you're around and fancy a trip to Glasgow. Cammy probably less likely to show up. It's a round the world trip. Dear. Oh yeah, it is genius, absolute genius. Now, by the same guys who did Father Ted. Yeah, it'll be happening again probably around October, because it was my birthday weekend when it happened, and that's kind of second week in October or so. But if you're into Father Ted, the guys who did it also did a show called they did loads of different programs, the guys, but they piloted a show called The Walshes, and it's about like sort of a family in Dublin. And I think I thought it was hilarious, but it only ran for 3 shows, and it was basically a pilot run, and no one took it up. But if you can find it, the 3 episodes of The Walshes, well worth a look. It's very like Father Ted, but all the stereotypes are Dublin family or sort of Dublin suburb stereotypes, you know. Oh, Unbelievables are brilliant as well, absolutely. Oh yeah, and the Hardy books, as well. Yeah, The Walshes, it's very good because there's just so much of it, and it's just like, oh, I grew up around places like this, and it's again stupid humor, but it's very, very funny about the family of stereotypes. It's very good. Yeah, the Hardy books is very good. It's yeah, again, stupid humor, very Irish. But that's based in Cork, I think, or yeah, down in Chuchters anyway. Well, you see, it's funny because we would call anyone from outside Dublin a bogger or a culchie, which is a terrible thing to say, but even if they're from a city like Cork, which is kind of like, you know, considered the second city of Ireland, it's they're still a culchie. But then anyone from Cork would call someone from Dublin like a jackeen. So, you know, it goes both ways. I've no idea if the YouTube pilot's any good, actually. Because I haven't seen it, but they made a full series of it, and it was on RTE. A jackeen with an N on the end. Not Jackie. No, no. Not your name at all. Spell a shite off them. Yeah, jackeen. I don't even know where the word comes from, but Cork people use that as an insult for Dublin people, for example. Yeah. Sort of the inverse of culchie or chuchter. Cool, right, well, thanks for joining in, Terrible Fire. Good night, and have a good one. And I hope I hope you have Johnny sleeping in your garden in the morning when you wake up. Good night. Okay. Getting very little work done here. Yeah. Yeah, true. Yeah, okay, let's see. Process toolbar, that'll load our new toolbar, and now we need to open the windows again. So helper, so our flags. So we need to have a look at add helper and see what we're doing here. Javier, welcome in. How are you? Yeah, it's been a slow evening. There's been a lot of chatting about various things, Irish isms and drinking of wine, and yeah, just chat about slang and about a bit of politics and religion and stuff like that. But sure, it's all good. But cheers, thank you for joining in. You can take Terrible Fire's seat. He's just headed off. Good. So what's happened so far is I tried to get transparency working on my image loading routines. When I say my image loading routines, they're Amiga Blitz image loading routines. Well, see, the thing is, right, disclaimer, my crash count is 0 because the virtual machine, hasn't fallen over yet. A few programs have crashed. Maybe, well, okay, let's show of hands, right? When I get a crash from a program, should that count as a crash, even if it doesn't take the system down? What do you guys think? Oh, one vote for yes. No, Because in the Amiga, if it doesn't take down the system, then you got away with it basically. So yeah, so was it really a crash? Okay, 50-50. Tammy, do you want to cast a vote? Anyone else there? Guru count, yeah, true. A reboot count, because sometimes it comes down to that as well. Yeah, so what was I doing? Add helper, let's see, where's my window command here? They're yeah, indeed. But you know they're like, you know, recoverable is a program crash. Yeah, Grim Reaper in OS4 terms, yeah. But yeah, so I've had a couple of crashes that were caught by, and not even by the Blitz debugger, by the OS, but it kept it. So that means I've got some, you know, I've had like a massive memory leak or something like that. I don't know exactly, but things didn't get allocated anymore. What is the story of flags? The only flag I have is window flag borderless. Okay, well let's go with that. Oh, very important. I need to assign a new address. You know what I should do? I should just copy these 2 lines. 3 lines. Oh, this is actually a cool little cover version of this song. Oh, who is it? Not Depeche Mode. Oh my god. German electronica band. Ah. From the 80s. Did The Model. Oh, my brain. Okay, right. Okay, Javier, thanks for dropping in anyway. Cool, thanks for joining in. Sorry, this will be a long one with not much progress, but, you know, good to have you here anyway. Okay, so what are we doing? We change toolbar. Thank you. So let's scrap that line there. And let's put those lines in. Helper win address. That's part of the helper struct, isn't it? Helper win address / helper win address. It is. There we go. Okay, so helper win address, new helper ID. We have to change that to I because we're opening all of them in a loop. Helper X, helper Y, helper width, helper height, flags, no title. That's it. Craftwork, yes, thank you. Oh, my brain. Craftwork. Yes. Getting an itchy brain there. Yeah. Well, they were supposed to have a gig in Ireland, way up the Wicklow Mountains a few years ago. And I remember it got cancelled because the weather was so terrible that they couldn't get to this really remote space where they were going to, because the road was just all mud and they couldn't do it. And they had already kind of like set up partly set up. But yeah, I was like, oh my god, that would have been amazing. Kraftwerk concert in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of nowhere. Would have been brilliant. Okay. So. Who'd have thunk it? I know. Yeah. Certainly the Germans didn't see it coming. Oh dear. Okay, so use last path. So we switched that back. We should put that at the bottom actually. So anything we need to do after we open those? Oh, we need to redefine the button bars. The GAD tools lists. Add helper. So what we need to do is we need to remake the GAD tools lists. So we open the window and then we do, okay. Oh yeah, GAD tools give me 0, 0 position on. That was a fantastically horrible bug that I spent quite a while finding. Oh yeah, okay, let's do that. Copy that in and see what we need to change. Change toolbar. After the window. If is open. So that goes here. If helper win address, yes. Okay, let's skip a line there. Eek. Let's move this bit in. Whoa. For last gadget. Okay, so this makes up our gadgets. Last gadget. That's okay. We better share that. We better import that. Shared in again in Blitz parlance. Last gadget. Gadgets array, and then we have to change this to a J. Okay. What? J. Oh, J. Exposition. New helper ID is just I, isn't it? GAD tools list. Gadgets. Oh god. Probably should have just named the outside loop J. I. Gadgets J. Gadgets J. Gadgets J. This is where I would like to have a bigger screen, and I normally run it in like my 1920 by 1200, but just for the screen for the stream I have it in a low resolution. So it's tight. New helper ID attached GT list. Oh, it does work. It does work. It's one of those things, you know. In Amiga terms, you can press Shift and you go left or right to go to the end or the start of a line. And if you press Shift and delete, it deletes to the end of the line, and Shift plus backspace deletes to the start of the line. And I love this because it's so orthogonal. It's so you know, it makes sense. It, you know, to the, like, and controls to the, or yeah, it like, you know, these shortcuts make a lot of sense because they're the same for everything. And I almost thought it didn't work there, but it just got confused by the because when the token is off the line when you enter it, it just does funny things. Yeah, exactly, and it's like it's not consistent because you got end. Oh, actually, I'm gonna try it in Windows because yeah, they are fantastic. And the annoying thing is, with Workbench 3.2, some of them have changed, and it kind of upsets me because I use OS 4 and I'm used to Shift Delete and Shift Left, Shift Right and stuff like that, and they don't work like that anymore, and it really annoys me. They swapped it to Control, I think, to be more consistent with other platforms, as you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, I see why you did it, but I don't think you should have, because if you learn a shortcut, you learn a shortcut, and it's, you know, I associate the shortcut with the platform. Oh, I did. Several times. I don't think that they took my feedback on board. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah, oh, these old-fashioned shortcuts aren't any good, etc., etc. I can't remember exactly what the problem was, but yeah, it turns out that I was one of very few people who knew about these shortcuts, so when they changed them, no one noticed, basically, except for me, and it's just one voice. So there you go, anyway. But yeah, no, I love them. I love those shortcuts, and yeah, they work well there. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So I adjust window, adjust window. Where the hell is that routine? Oh, you know what? We don't need to do this. Because adjust window, that's a routine that what it does is it scrolls the window down a little bit when you create a toolbar, but when I delete the toolbar here, I'm not scrolling back up again, which is what happens if you close it properly. So I don't actually need to do that here. So what's the last if that we helper win address? Okay, so we don't need that end if either, and we just need to move that back to there. And what that'll do is if it close the window, and if it can't open it again for whatever reason, give you an error message, and it will mark that window as not in use. Let's save that. Let's give it an L compile. See what happens. Oh, pants. Next with F4. There's the next I. Oh, shit. Next J. Yeah. Variables must be declared. New helper ID, of course. New helper ID. GT bevel box. Okay. Something has happened. It's working. Working. Toolbar is working. Okay. And scrolling up and down the window, you can see the background moving there as it moves. Now, let's see what happens. DrawerGenie. That's toolbar HD. Let's change to default. Yes, it loaded it. Now, the pink around the corners there, that's the same problem. It's since I switched to using the Amiga Blitz include to load the thing, and it's not treating it as transparent anymore. So, yeah, but don't mind that. But it did. It switched the toolbar, switched the sizes. Let's see if it. Oh, and even the positions have reloaded properly, because when the icons change size, the drop downs have to accept that. So show interface. Let's change that to the HD. Yeah. No, it didn't work. Almost. Almost. The X. Have the X positions worked? This seems like it should be a simple fix. Yeah, the X positions have worked, and even the drop down menu all works in the correct position. It's just that this window hasn't resized. Okay, okay, that's very positive. Very positive. Thank you. That deserves a sip of wine. Okay, so now, okay, what was that? That was the windows not opening at the right. So helper width and helper height are not being fixed. So why are they not being changed? process toolbar is supposed to set those values. Process toolbar, what are you doing? Why aren't you changing the values? Process toolbar. Prefs gadget width, prefs gadget height. That looks like it should work. Oh, I've just realized this. Help, this window here is having problems. Having major problems. Anyway, let's not touch that because it'll probably crash the machine. Okay. Gadget width and gadget height. So it's loading the toolbar here. And it's calculating the X positions. So we know it's doing that. So toolbar, gadget width, gadget height. Gadget W, gadget H. I don't know why I'm going over there. Change toolbars here. I know it's because, you know, I know it's only, yeah, it's Blitz Basic and stuff like that, but this IDE I actually really like as, you know, as in it runs on a 90s machine. I quite like it. Process toolbar is there. I'm importing prefs. Prefs has the gadget width, gadget height. Oh, what's going on? GT shape. I. Well, yeah, that's a fair point. Basically, it copies the system font for these windows. That is absolutely a fair point. So when I have this in 1920 by 1200, they look fine. ID preferences. So basically, it's copying the fonts from the Workbench fonts. GUI font. So we can set it to something like that, and it should be a lot better. Use and close. Yeah, there we go. Although I don't like that font. I know it doesn't. ID preferences. Environment. What we need is Topaz 6. Something like that. That's better. And if we wanted to, we could even make this smaller. Like that. I don't even know why we have this window open anymore. It seems to be just mocking me. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Every pixel counts. But even, like, I know I'm running this in 640 by 512, but even when I'm running on a native screen mode and on my 1200, I run it at about 720 by 5 something, 568 or whatever it is, whatever the maximum overscan is, because my monitor loves that. It's a bit fussy, but it still understands 15 kilohertz modes. But if you set the maximum overscan, it interprets it as the 720 pixels by 568 or whatever it is, like that, like by that resolution, and then it locks on. It's actually really nice. I don't think there are shortcuts. Oh well, there are shortcuts for different window layouts, actually. So I'll show you what I can do. So I can do this. Let's do this, and let's move this. And see ID preferences. So editor. Let's see, where is it? Store window settings. So let's say I put them on F6. Okay. Okay, save and close. And then what I can do is I can do that one as F4. Where is it? There we go. F4. Okay, save and close. So now if I press F4, it'll do that. Okay. Well, okay, fine. But I can like click it to the front, and then F6 does that. So it'd be slightly more useful if it, you know, if it laid them out a different way. But yeah, there aren't shortcuts to show hide them as such, but there's shortcuts for the size, for the layout, basically. So yeah, I suppose it does count as show hide. But anyways, yeah, I actually, you know what, I'm happy with that. Thank you. Let's look at this. That's nicer. That is much nicer. Yeah, it's yeah. And even at that, I can just press F4 and bring them back to the front, and then just double click to get rid of them. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. Anyway, yeah, see, I like at 1920 by 1200, I have all of the source code almost visible. It's, yeah. Okay, so where's my new window? Helper width, helper height. Why? Oh no, process toolbar. I'm going to use my shortcut. Process toolbar doesn't calculate the helper height. But this is a good call on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a different setup for when it's on 1920 by 1200 and save that to F5. And then that'll do. Process toolbar. Is not it, I was saying it's changing the gadget width and gadget height, but where's my window width? Helper height. Where's my helper height calculated? So helper height, where is it? Okay, here we are. That's a good point. That's that's the sound of a man who has enough time in his hands to do such things. Oh, I remember when I used to do things like that and script everything, and oh god. I'll do an entire stream on just getting scripting like that to work. But yeah, absolutely. Do you know, back in the day, I wrote an actual profile thing. So it would copy the entire create a script. That's the dream. I will be so rich. No, back in the day, I wrote a little program and a set of programs actually that did user profiles on the Amiga. So all you did was you entered a DOS command, and it was like a switch profile, and you gave the name of a profile, and it reconfigured your env and env archive, and it was essentially like having different users, but without the security. Just to do with settings and stuff like that. So it would call it kind of retriggered iprefs. So it would so basically it would do a complete sort of reset of Workbench, and it would change resolution, it would change background picture, it would change fonts, it would do all that stuff. Oh, I must dig that up, because I wrote that and I used it for quite a while. And yeah, I don't have it anymore. No, I still have the machine, Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did that in like 1998 or 1999 for OS3. But I had a need for it. I had some sort of, it was when I got a graphics card first, because some things I couldn't have the graphics card enabled or something like that. So that was about 2000 that I did that. But yeah, and I'm sure I have that. And actually, you know what? I wrote that in C, not in Blitz. So that exists somewhere on my A1200 hard drive, and I will dig that out because it is essentially themes. Yeah. Oh, that's a bit hardcore. I'm gonna skip that song, tune, whatever it is. Thank you. But yeah, so I'm gonna dig up that source code and publish it somewhere, because it didn't do anything particularly fancy, but it did. Basically, it might have even been a themes assign, and in that you had different copies of different env archives, and all it would do was copy all the files or reassign it. I think I can't remember how it worked, but it made env and env archive, it changed them, so it either reassigned them or whatever. But basically that's what it did, and it just changed everything. So all your settings got, completely changed. But anyways, here we have where helper height is defined. What routine is this? Add helper. Balls. Yeah, okay. So add helper it chooses it when it decides a new window. So, but it's okay. We can just copy that, because if the window has disappeared, we've got bigger problems, because that pointer is null pointer. So that's something we need to deal with on another day. Yeah, it was similar enough on OS3, but I think there was something with iPref that you had to you had to poke it to make it do that. But it was basically that same idea. It just basically it either reassigned or reallocated env, or copied everything over. I'll have to look up the source code, but yeah, there you go. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but yeah, I think on OS 3. I think 3.5 is where it kind of got a bit more automated with a lot of the stuff that iPrefs can do. But I think iPrefs, I needed to actually send in a message to tell it to refresh. Would that be right? Oh, I'm going to dig up the source code anyway. But yeah, I was writing the C. I coded that in C actually, and just to think that I'm kind of I don't want to code in C anymore. I'll code in Blitz. Oh well, these are the things that happen. Okay, I've added a bug to that code by putting the space there. So copy that. And now I'm going to use my new shortcut. Look at that. Sort alpha. What the hell is that? Well, I know what that is, but no. Why, thank you. Yeah. Sure, you know what? At the time, I was doing C coding in work, and I was doing some firmware coding, and when I was coming home to do some Amiga coding, I didn't want the extra faff of... I got sick of it, and so I would just decided to do some Blitz coding, and that's where it came about. Because I liked Blitz before doing some C coding before, so I had done some Blitz Basic in the past. Because my Amiga journey started when I came from the Atari, and that was basic or assembler. There was no C or anything like that. So I was writing loads of basic programs. Went to the Amiga. Blitz Basic seemed to be the best basic that there was. I was using Amos and then Blitz Basic. I had used Amiga Basic briefly, and it was like, oh, this is terrible. Kept on crashing, doing all sorts of shit stuff. So Amos was decent, and then but I didn't do much with it. And then I was like, someone told me about Blitz, and I was like, oh, this is much better. This is what I'm looking for. and that came along, and then I started learning C, and then I got this book. Fantastic book. That's what taught me C. And then I went to uni, I went to college, and I brought that book with me. We were allowed to bring in whatever C books we wanted for programming for our C classes, and I brought this in, and I got quite a few looks. Because everyone else had like Kernighan and Ritchie and a few other, books like that. I had Amiga Shopper presents Complete Amiga C, and that I was parading that around the computer labs and DCU. But you know what? 90% of C is the same, so it worked. And I learned C that way, and then then I was programming the Amiga with C, and then I started doing it in work, and I was like, nah, I'm gonna go back to Blitz. Anyway, okay, right, so let's go back to our change toolbar. And let's put that line back in. What line was that? Where did I want it? I even forget what line it was. So let's just paste it there. That will do. Yeah, exactly, because especially in uni, you're doing stuff that's kind of pretty arbitrary. It's or pretty abstract. It's not. You're not doing stuff like C# or you're not accessing any Windows functions or anything like that. It's all just, how do you solve this problem and save the results to this file, and that's it. And that's all the same. It's exactly the same. And 80% of the complete Amiga C is standard C. And it's only kind of like when you get to the last few chapters, you start dealing with intuition and Windows and stuff like that. And so the first like 3/4 of the book are applicable to basically every platform, which is great. It is a really good book, actually. Okay, so helper height. So we're recalculating the helper height. This has been a long fix for a very simple problem. Let's see. There's a toolbar, big and chunky. Let's open our interface. DrawerGenie, show interface. Oh, actually, the last time we didn't have the interface open. Let's see what happens. Toolbar, default, use. It hasn't changed the size of the window. So what's happened? What's happened? Why aren't we doing that? Helper height. Oh, for fuck's sake. We need to put that up here before the window is defined. Before the windows are defined. That should be it. Simple. Let's see. Toolbar, small toolbar, because that's what we chose the last time. Let's see, everything lines up. Yeah, that lines up, that lines up, that lines up. Yeah, perfect. DrawerGenie, show interface. Default, toolbar HD. Yeah. Why you mock me? Oh, Jesus. What's happened here? Helper height. Each helper has its own. Each helper has its own height. So we put it here. Because that's where helper height is used. Now let's try it. Okay, big interface, DrawerGenie, show interface. Let's change that to default. Yeah. Yes! Oh. Let's see, do they line up? They line up, they line up, they line up. Everything seems to work. We can't go from RAM disk, of course. So let's go to show interface, toolbar HD. Haha. Oh, it works. Oh, it works. It hasn't moved up the way, but yeah. Ah. Oh, that'll do. I'm very happy with that, actually. Okay, there's still a glitch when it redraws the window. Yeah. Some nice icons there, actually. These were not drawn by me. Sort by name, sort by date, sort by size, sort by type. I like the sort by type icon. Yeah. And show only icons or all files. Only icons. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's cool. It works. Now, the only problem is I haven't done any kind of safety stuff. So if I went like this, show interface. You can't see this, but I'm slowing down the. I've slowed down the emulation to a 1200 speed. So let's see what happens if I change it now. Show interface, toolbar, so default. I'm going to try and pull the rug from under it. Okay. See, we're getting a slight glitch here. Oh, it has changed. Okay. It's also debugging, which is slowing things down a lot. But, okay, let's try that again. And we're going to try and change it. And you're going to pull the window from under it. See if I can get a glitch of some sort. What happens here? What happens here? Okay, seems to have... Oh, no, there we go. Oh, no, it's shitting itself. Oh, okay, it caught up with itself. It did catch up with itself. It caught the event, even though it was busy. Okay. That, I think, is okay. Right. I'm happy with that. I'm delighted with that. I'm going to deal with the palette mapping stuff, the transparency stuff in my own time, because I feel like that's just going to take an awful lot of experimentation. Now, I thought that would be easy, this stuff that I was doing today, but it wasn't. It was a pain. But that's the joy of Amiga. That's the joy of Blitz. That's the joy of coding. So yeah. So I will. Yeah. At some other point, I will. I'll do it. I'll write a palette mapping routine of my own, and I'm going to sub it in there. And oh, that's very slow. Let's put it up to fast as possible again, and let's do that. And so I'm going to do that on my own time, and then I will come back to this and sub that in. Okay, so oh yeah, forgot about that. Forgot that was even open. So that's all saved, is it? Yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, indeed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's go and see if there's, see if there's anyone around to raid. So we've got Amiga Live. We've got Tonda is playing PlayStation 1. Oh, Pints and Amiga. Yeah, let's go and raid Pints and Amiga. Okay, so let me see. Oh, Pints and Amiga are playing Worms DC, actually. So let's go and give him an L raid, or give them an L raid. So, oh god, where have my controls gone? So, Pints and Amiga, let's give him a raid. Or them a raid. I don't, not, well, yeah, I do sometimes, but not for this particular stuff. I will have to, I'll have to get that sorted out. But basically, on this, it's basically copy an image of the hard drive image to my NAS, and that's my backup solution here. So I don't actually have like a proper version control, unfortunately. So it's something I should do. It's something I should do, really. But anyways, listen, thank you very much. Thanks, George. thank you everyone else who's here. I can't even remember who's here. But thanks for dropping in, Cammy. Thank you everyone, and I will say good night for now. I'm going to go and talk to my lovely wife. She's been sitting around somewhere for an hour. And no, thank you for joining in. I enjoy this because it's kind of like, if I don't make this time, I kind of end up not bothering to code or not bothering to do this stuff because there's like a million other things I need to do. So it's good. I need an excuse to do this. So yeah, thanks very much, guys, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.